here's what I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you this position. And I've just finished my workout. I've been working at home for the last almost 2 years now, since the pandemic started and the gyms got closed, and I figured out, okay, I can get all the equipment I need and I can work out at home. But it's not the story. I have been working on my mobility and flexibility for the last decade, probably quite consistently. I don't want to say I'm very good at it, but I want to say that I've always been drawn to that. I've always been interested in being more flexible. I did my first split when I was 22. When I was 22 and I did my first split, I was so happy that I just wanted to continue training. I wanted to continue with my stretching routine. I tried the front split today. It didn't really work very well because I'm very sore from running. My hamstrings are quite sore, so I can't go all the way down today. But that only means that I can't go all the way down today. But you know, a lot of people ask me, and a lot of people share their concerns when I talk about a consistent, deliberate, well-structured practice routine. I usually talk about practice routine when it comes to learning English. However, in my podcasts and when I talk about my lifestyle and just, when I talk to people, I consistently show how I apply the same strategies across different spheres of life. What motivates you to continue with your practice routine? The image that I have in mind right now is me as a little girl visiting my grandparents. My grandparents used to live on a farm. They had a small farm, and my sister and I would visit them every summer. We wouldn't just visit them, we would stay with them on the farm during the summer. And I have this image of my grandparents actually driving a carriage. They would use a horse to drive a carriage. My grandma would be holding the reins, and the carriage would be packed with hay. So usually there would be a bale of hay, and my grandpa and my grandma would be sitting on that hay, and we were sitting next to them. And my grandma was sitting like this. She was sitting like this very comfortably, holding the reins and just chilling and talking to me and, and driving the carriage and controlling the horse, of course. And when I looked at her, and I was 9 or 10, and when I looked at her, I was like, how is that possible that she can sit this way with her back straight, upright, and she's completely relaxed? When I tried to do that, and I was 10 maybe, the best I could do was this. That was the best I could do. I couldn't stretch my legs. I could absolutely not have my lower back upright. I couldn't hold it upright. The best I could do was that. And I was like, my grandma is in her 60s, and I'm 10 or 11. What's wrong with me? I was like, how is that possible? There was no internet back then, of course. There were no books. There was no culture of fitness and working out. Absolutely no culture whatsoever. I didn't do any physical exercise back then, apart from what we used to do at school. But I was on vacation. It was a summer vacation. Of course, I didn't do any physical exercise. So I just want to tell you that my grandma and the image of my grandma has always been my motivation to learn to stretch and to learn to do that, to be able to do that with ease, So when I do my exercise and when I can do it right now, 20-something years later, I feel very happy. And my grandma, she's she's 89 years old, and she's still in good shape. God bless her. But the exercise that I like to do a lot is I like to do the plow pose. I may probably want to show it to you right now. I did it today. So basically you go up into the candle and then you do a plow pose. And this is how you can check if you're flexible enough. And then you roll back. And let me just sit so that you can see what I'm doing. And then you want to just go all the way down. I'm not showing this to you just to say that this is the perfect way of doing the exercise, but I like to do that a lot. And what it got me thinking about is that why do we look for motivation somewhere in the internet? somewhere on the internet where people we don't know, people who haven't impacted our life in any way, people who, I don't know, who are making money online by showing these exercises, why do we get motivated, and why do we look for motivation out there when it is so easy when it comes from the family, when I'm sure everybody has something to hold on to in their own family? And why don't we do as much as we should actually be doing to maintain those family values, to nurture those family traditions, and to show our kids how they can get motivated, and by looking at people around them, people they are surrounded with every day, their family members. Why don't we try to be better people so that our kids look up to us, so that our kids want to live up to, not to our expectations, but they want to be just better people. So where does motivation come from? Of course I look at people around me, but I don't want to say that I get motivated by external images of other people who have done something. Yes, my coach motivates me a lot, and when I see people who have achieved something that I am planning to achieve, that I have no idea how to accomplish, but I absolutely feel that I can get there. When I, like English, right? Native like fluency. My major boost of motivation happened when I was 16. No, not 16. Earlier, no, maybe yes, 16. I was 16. I was in my second year at the university, because I entered university very early, and I was volunteering at a drama project at school, at my own school where I used to go. And I met that person, that incredible person who was 27 back then, and he spoke incredible English. He arrived with a team of native speakers at a small town where I used to live in Kazakhstan. A small town. We were lucky enough to have Peace Corps volunteers work in our city, and he arrived with a group of Peace Corps volunteers. All of them were American, and he was the only one local guy. But he spoke incredible English, as if he grew up together with them. You couldn't really tell the difference at all. And I was lucky to be working as his assistant. I volunteered to be in his team. And he actually showed me that it is possible, and what I can do to make it possible. And he supported me a lot by showing that I do have everything I need to in order to get there. And then throughout my life, I've been, especially when I travel, I meet people who also have achieved native like fluency. And I'm just going to tell you, all of those people didn't really follow any standard academic programs that are being pushed onto us. No, they did absolutely different things, and they're doing something similar to what I'm doing, right, let's say. I haven't traveled for quite a while, like most people here. And I'm not a native speaker. I have never lived in a native speaking country. I've never stayed in a native speaking country, which in my case is the US, for longer than 3 months. But again, back to the point I'm trying to drive home. The motivation is not always somewhere out there. Maybe we just have to look around and look closer, or have a closer look at the things that we see every single day, at the people that we talk to every single day. Maybe we want to be better parents, better teachers, just better people, better family members, more supportive family members. I didn't get motivated by any fitness star. That was a one-day motivation or two-day motivation maybe, I wanted to try their course badly, but I wasn't really motivated to be like them or to achieve something myself. And I think that's the worst type of motivation that kids and teenagers especially can adopt. I want to be like that person. That's very unhealthy. We want to help our kids and teenagers and younger generations unfold the potential that only they have, so that they feel confident, self-worthy, and just happy with what they are and what they can achieve, and so that they fall in love with the beauty of hard work. Because it is hard work. It took me years, but it never even crossed my mind that I should stop, or that the work that I'm doing is for nothing, or that if I haven't achieved that today, if I haven't accomplished the course on time, I didn't have any course, I didn't have any deadline, I had this idea that I can do it, and I had the image of my grandma in front of my eyes. None of those external motivations that online educators are trying to push on us actually work. It starts with your intrinsic desire, and I just want to have you think about it. Can this intrinsic desire be born by looking at commercial images of somebody's online school? I believe it can be only born in a community, in a real family, where people genuinely care about one another. I'm not saying that every online school is bad. I'm just saying that we as people are losing this touch of community. And I have a brother who is also a teenager, and I can see that their mindset and their mentality is different. And they are already, they've grown up with that idea that if you want to achieve something, no, if you want to gain some knowledge, you have to pay for it. It's not like somebody's going to help you. It's not like you have to build a relationship and learn from that person in a relationship naturally, because that always naturally happens. They have this idea that you have to pay for a consultation, and you're going to get as much knowledge as a person can give you during a 1-hour consultation. And if you don't have the money for that consultation, you're not entitled to learn anything. And that is, I think, a disastrous trend, in my opinion. So why don't we become our own motivation, and why don't we remember, actually let's remember that we can give so much to people around us, and parents, grandparents, people who are close to us, our family members, can be the best motivation, because they continue transcending those family members that are unique to us. And they help us unlock our true potential, because we don't pay attention to things that don't matter to us. I didn't pay attention to that just because I was curious, but probably because I felt deep inside that that's something I can achieve as well. And that's something that's going to make me feel good and happy. And it does. The fact that I can do this exercise makes me feel very happy. Thank you very much for watching, and enjoy your workouts.